Okay, looks it is possible to start our webinar dedicated to our BimNv SDK, the interoperability toolkit for Autodesk Navisworks files. And we are all very glad to see you today at our webinar. And we hope that this webinar will be interesting and useful for you. So let us start. And first of all, I would like to perform the introduction of the persons who will be from ODA side today. And those are Ivan Shulga, BimNv team lead, Vadim Asandi, BimNv software engineer, and me, Alexander Borovikov, customer experience team lead. As for the plan of our webinar, it will be the following. First, we'll provide a brief overview. Then we will switch to the main block, what you can do with BimNv SDK. Then we'll have what's next session, our future plans, near future plans, and then we'll switch to the questions and answers session. As for the presentation part, that will last about 30 minutes. As for the questions and answers session, usually it lasts about an hour, and we engage you to ask your questions in the chat box. So as soon as they appear, probably some of questions you have right now, probably some of them will appear during the presentation. So we could group, collect them, and provide you as much information as possible. And okay, let us start with the overview. As you know, I think you know, Autodesk Navisworks format is the platform for large projects which incorporates data of various formats and allows to see the combined view and perform the complex analysis of such complex models. And of course, that was interesting for our existing and potential members, and we launched the work in this direction. And the goals of this project were the following: to allow to work with NWD, NWC, and NWF file formats, leverage existing ODE advantages, open new technical and business opportunities for our existing and potential members. And it was necessary, of course, to utilize the existing experience in the CAD and BIM area that was accumulated by ODE. Thus, as the implementation cross-platform C++ was chosen, because ODE has high expertise in this area, kernel SDK was chosen to be the common part of this SDK. Thus, it's possible to improve the maturity of the overall project, at the same time to improve the and to guarantee the compatibility of the BimNv SDK with other ODE SDKs. And from the administrative point of view, work in the SIG format was chosen to make it possible to work in to focus efforts on this particular direction. And what you can do with the BimNv SDK. Okay, let us switch to the main block, what you can do with BimNv SDK. And the general answer is that you can extend your existing application with the Navisworks Data Access or create new applications with the Navisworks Data Access. But if we speak like in more details, the significant advantage of BimNv SDK is the following. It is possible to design any type of application with BimNv SDK, so you are not limited to creating some plugins to existing environment, existing application, existing solution, or whatever. You can create any type of application, some console data extractor or conversion tool or visualization solution, anything you like, and what's even more important, on any platform. Not only on Windows only, but it's possible to run all those types of applications, so on Linux and macOS as well. So be absolutely independent from Autodesk Navisworks components installed on the desktop. And now we'll switch to a more technical issues, the BimNv capabilities that allows this to happen, these features to exist. And first of all, of course, it's the very access to Navisworks data. Our SDK are capable of reading NWD, NWF, and NWC formats. As for the versions, starting, you see that I marked 2009 as reasonable and 2013 as good, but it is written not in terms of the data quality, but in terms of experience. It is quite hard to find a big amount of various old style Navisworks files. Thus, the amount of files we used for our tests and verifications for 2009 is significantly smaller than the amount of files for 2013 and higher. Also, it's necessary to say that I mentioned that Navisworks is a platform that incorporates data of various formats. Thus, if the was incorporated the data from the formats that are supported by ODA, like DWG, DGN, DXF, RVT, IFC, whatever. The data access, we can say, excellent. But if the data is incorporated from the formats that are not supported by ODA right now, there may be probably some issues. So it's difficult. It's more difficult to guarantee the 100% data access in this case. What else? It's necessary to say a couple of words about the API. API is designed similar to Navisworks API to make the transition, the exchange of the experience easier. Currently, the focus is on read support, so it's mainly consists of getters, and but we have initial editing for NWF format. It's possible to add an additional model. Transformation matrix and resave a modified NWF file. And BimNv SDK itself has examples. I mean, the archive has examples. They not very many probably, but quite useful. The first one is OD Simple Loader. It's quite simple and straightforward example with the purpose of getting acquainted with the APIs. So it's quite short. It's a console application, and you see in the main we just call the load NWX method, and if we open this method, we'll see the similar actions that are performed almost in every ODA SDK. Initialization of services, then using these services to read the database, and further on, the processing of this database being read. OD NWF resave is just the example that shows the resaving, this initial editing capabilities for NWF, and OD NW the load example is, if to call it simple, it's a dumper example that loads and dumps the content of a Navis file. It may dump it in format of JSON, in format of TXT, but you can also make adjustments of what to dump and what exactly data will be in this dump. But you also have the possibility to get acquainted with the working with the GI interface. This OD NWD load example dumps the current view of the model as a PMP file, so showing the initial capabilities. Based on these capabilities, it's possible to create an example, like we have examples for other formats, like OD MFC app, OD BIM app, and similar ones. And I'll briefly show how it looks like. We have a files folder with an iStadium NWD model. Here we have this console switch to the folder with the OD NWD load example, and we will perform the dump of the iStadium NWD file to the files folder as a BMP. As you see, the BMP file appeared, and that is how it looks. That's the current view of the iStadium model. We will use this model later on for further examples. Now we move further, but thanks to the fact that we considered that ODE is a family of SDKs, and it's necessary and it's possible to use the capabilities of other SDKs, so combining BimNv with other SDKs, so it's possible to use BimNv with Visualize SDK, thus getting extended Visualize capabilities like cutting planes and similar things. We will run the Visualize viewer. We will open the iStadium NWD model. And that's what you see. We can introduce, for instance, a cutting plane. And to see how this looks like. But that's not all. It's necessary to say that working with the Visualize SDK requires the conversion from the format, from the original format to our internal VSF format. And we have this model and NV to Visualize. That's the name of the model. You can probably use it as an example for other conversion tasks. And having this model, we perform the conversion, but the very VSF format has also some capabilities in terms of interoperability. So it's possible, for instance, to add drawings SDK to BimNv and Visualize couple, and to save the VSF result to DWG. So let's do it. Oh, sorry. As the saving is being performed from the VSF, so the geometry format, it will take some time, and the resulting DWG model will be quite big. I mean the size. But if it is necessary to get the DWG representation, we can successfully get it. What else? It's also possible to export. If we append the publish SDK, it is possible to perform the conversion from Navis format to VSF and to PDF. So export Navis format to PDF through VSF. So let's do it as well. Okay, we are done, and that's how the resulting PDF looks like. But it's necessary to say that if we are able to convert the Navis format to VSF, that means that we can operate with our OpenCloud SDK because it works with the VSF format and thus visualize the Navis models on web. Let us show how it looks like. This is our cloud demo viewer that is available from our site in the demos section. And we have a couple of Navis files loaded already, and let us try our iStadium. Loading and vectorization will take some time initially. And after it is fully loaded and visualized, all the capabilities like markups, like sectioning as well, like rotating through predefined views, is also available for us, like isolate. It wasn't necessary probably to isolate one small detail. So it's possible to hide a couple of roof structure elements, and we see that there are seats and other construction elements inside. It's necessary also to say that Visualize working through OpenCloud for now is the only opportunity to visualize Navis models on mobile devices. And right now I will switch to the mobile device and show how it looks like. Just a moment. Okay, looks you can see my screen right now. We are in the same cloud viewer, and we'll open a smaller model because the performance on mobile devices is a little bit slower. You can see that the model was loaded. You can see that we have some controls available for us, like predefined views, like visual styles. For instance, let it be X-ray. Let us switch back to realistic. If you visited some of our previous webinars, you remember that our cloud viewer had only those predefined options to play around with the image, but now recently our cloud team introduced the touchscreen capabilities. So it's possible to move. It's possible to select rotation and rotate the model. And if you find it useful, you can use these capabilities, and they are already implemented. Now let us switch back. And now a couple of words about what's next, our near future plans. And first of all, it's necessary to move into the creation direction. So we will implement the functionality of how to create Navisworks files from our VSF files. It's also necessary to say that Navis files contain clash elements detection data, and for now we do not read the stream, but we will implement this feature, and we will provide and will support clash element stream reading. Thus these data will be available, and the sheets support it's a feature about the situation when And Navis file acts like a folder of files so that it contains multiple models, and it will be possible to switch between them easily. So that's the near future plans. And as for the sheet support, we expect it to be present in the upcoming release. So you'll be able to try and evaluate it. So briefly, that's it. And now we are ready, and we'll be glad to answer your questions. Okay, the first question is the PDF from BimNv 2D or 3D? And Ivan Shulga will provide the answer for this question.
Well, hello all. I would like to say there are no limitation on BimNv SDK to convert to the PDF 2D or 3D. It's made by Visualize SDK. If Visualize SDK has some limitation or maybe problems, you are welcome to report, but we have no issues with conversion to VSF format.
Okay. So for now, after we perform the conversion, it's more a matter of VSF and Visualize team. But of course, let us know if there are some issues, and we'll take care of this. So the second question is, so Autodesk has no Navisworks viewer for mobile devices. I think it's a question regarding the available SDKs for platforms, and the questions regarding the support under mobile devices overall.
Well, let me answer. As I know, there are no application to view Navisworks files and to make application to view Navisworks files. Only I have seen third-party plugins for Navisworks to convert to another format, file formats, to get possible to view on mobile devices.
And I think so it is also
maybe
sorry,
maybe
ahead,
maybe Autodesk also has the possibility to view via his Forge web application. I don't know, but we face it with some issues with their Forge application. For example, we can't open NWF files on their Forge application.
And I think it's also necessary to say that Navisworks files are quite big usually, because they incorporate various complex models of other formats, so the size may be really big, and when being loaded in memory, the size also increases, so there may be some issues regarding this on mobile devices, so it's necessary also to take that into consideration.
Yes, if somebody knows if such application exists, let me know. I would like to test, to investigate.
Okay, then let us move to the next question. I am new to this format. Does it have any accessible BIM data in it?
Let me answer again. Any accessible BIM data? Yes, I think we can name a logical hierarchy data like contained in these files as BIM data. For example, files from Revit, when they're converted to Navisworks format, they have some properties from Revit format, for example, categories, some colors, ID of files, some parameters, and we have an access to this data too, like in Navisworks.
Okay. It looks we do not have new questions for now. Please let us know if somebody has one. I see a hand being raised. Oh, sorry, for quite a long time. Please let us know, are there any additional questions? So for now, I will say that probably some new questions will appear. BimNv SDK, similar to other SDKs, is available in trial format. So it's possible for our existing and potential members to apply for trial membership, get access to this BimNv SDK and evaluate it. For now, trial versions are available for Windows only. But it's usually it's okay for the initial step for the proof of concept. We have one new question. Can it be visualized without Visualize SDK? Ivan or Vadim, who will answer?
Yes, with GI.js SDK. So, like Alexander said in the presentation, but for you need to create your own viewer, which will base it on this kernel SDK.
Exactly. We have possibility to visualize not only with Visualize SDK, but in common way via GI.js interface that's situated in kernel, and you can create your own, for example, MSC application, or maybe Qt application without Visualize SDK, and draw with GI.js interface like ODE MFC app and ODE BIM. The example, as Alexander already said, is ODE NVD load. You can draw the current view on bitmap via GI.js interface.
Also, you can visualize it with your own app if on the other interface with our BimNv SDK, you need get the data from our SDK, geometry, materials, and put it in your own app and draw it.
So as a conclusion, you can just take OD Beam app and replace Revit files and work with the Revit files and Revit model with work with Navis model from OD and WD load example, briefly speaking, and that will do. Any other questions? Again, as we have a short pause, we will make a bracket of this webinar and of the questions. We will prepare it as a video, and for those probably your colleagues wished but could not visit the webinar, we will send you, so you'll be able to share this information, and we'll be glad to see your questions probably after that. We have one more question. It's good. Is the rendering single-threaded like IFC and Revit?
Yes, at this moment we use a single thread rendering.
The logical next question. Any plans for multi-threaded rendering?
Yes, but the priority of this task is not high for this moment. And as I said before, one of feature of one of rendering feature is to render with Visualize. And if Visualize will support multi-threaded rendering, we also will support it. But for GI and JS interface, we need to support it inside our SDK.
Okay.
Also, I would like to say that SIG members can make his own influence to our plans and we make our plans regarding the customers' requirements.
Yes, if there will be strong request for some particular feature, the priority of this feature will be increased, obviously, and it will be implemented sooner. And the next question about about the loading. Is the loading single-threaded? Ivan?
We have two modes to load files. One mode is single thread, and the second one is multi-thread. So you can switch and use multi-thread mode. So we have it.
And the first question: do the properties have any units or measure types attached to them? Ivan, Vadim, who will answer this question?
Hello all. I think Vadim can answer this question about units.
Hello. Yes, the Navisworks file have units in them, and so you can set the units value for all files in the global units and for all of the layer sets and another objects in your file, and yes, they have these properties with units.
I would like to add, as I know Semi already wrote us via email, and we can answer. We can provide some example. Depends, depending what you want to do with units. So you can write me, and we will answer.
Okay.
What do you need? Exactly.
Any other questions?
Well, we already can receive Navisworks file. For example, from the latest version, it's like 2060 to 2020, and we can receive it to the latest Navisworks formats. I mean, 2020, and for now we can only resave and change some geometry, but in near future we are planning to make full resaving. I mean, resaving from scratch, and we plan to do it in the end year release. I mean, in December of this year.
And we also Ivan have a question about the Clash performance, how fast, and I think it's necessary to provide more information.
Regarding Clash performance, now we can only read Clash element stream from Navisworks files that already contains data about Clash detection. I mean test data and test result data. But we can perform Clash detection only with Visualize SDK, and this is this performs via Visualize SDK, as I said, and we can save this data to the output file, for example. I think it's a question for Visualize team. I can't answer some details about this because I don't know. Alexander, maybe you can redirect these questions to some guys from Visualize team.
It depends, because as I mentioned, our clash detection in Visualize is the clash detection for geometry elements. But if the clash detection from the model elements point of view is interested, then it's more about the clash detection stream in the Navisworks file than the Visualize clash detection. Thus, it's difficult to compare it with the original Navisworks clash detection right now.
By the way, we plan to support clash detection via Visualize SDK and save to Navisworks file in the future, but it's not planned. It's can be planned to next year.
Okay. Probably some other questions. Okay, looks there are no for now. So then, thank you, everybody. We were very glad that you joined us today, and hope that probably some additional questions will appear afterwards. After a while, we'll be glad to answer them. All your points, all your suggestions, all the information provided by our existing and potential members is the direction for us. So then, thank you, everybody, and have a nice day, and goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.